Okay, so we'll get going. I know Jeff just arrived, but we'll get going. We got a long list of applications tonight. This is the Village of Pittsford Historic Preservation Board meeting of Monday, July 20th. We have four board members as well as Jeff tonight. And I don't really have too much else. Do we have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion?
Thank you. Second. Thank you, Jen.
Member McRae,
Yes.
member Lanahan,
Yes.
member Ruth,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, great. So on the agenda, like I said, we have 10 applications. The first application has deferred to August. 15 Maple Street. Alexandria, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, do I need to make a motion to defer it or anything, or we just move on? Okay, then I'll make a motion to defer 15 Maple Street to the August scheduled meeting.
Sorry. Member Lanahan,
Yes.
member Ruth,
Yes.
member McRae,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, great. Then we'll go to the next scheduled application, which is 9 Sutherland Street for a fence application. How are you? All right, how are you? Doing okay. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your project and
Yeah,
are you Glenn?
I am Glenn.
Okay, nice to meet you. I just want to know if that was.
Sorry, I didn't introduce myself.
Oh, that's all right.
I just figured from the 3 seconds I was here from the last meeting, you all would have remembered my face.
Oh, I do remember that.
That's why you put me first this time.
Oh, okay, great.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so we're just looking to do an enclosed fence in the backyard.
Yep.
I think that. I don't know. I had brought in some more recent renderings that I think that you all have requested. I don't see them here, so I'm not sure if you've got them now, so now.
I don't have anything other than the original.
Oh, no, here we go. No, I was just, he was looking for more specifically like what it would look like.
Oh, okay.
And specific style, yeah.
So you already had a fence there. It says 110 feet, moving up to 189.
Right.
Where can you just define, because of you did do a key, but it kind of doesn't. Can you just define where the new fence is going to be? Is it on the east side of the house?
I'm just gonna say yes, it is on the east side of the house.
Okay,
It's going to connect to the very back of the house,
okay,
and there will be about a 3-foot gap between the neighbor's garage and the fence line.
and then that fence line goes all the way back
Straight
down,
back, yeah.
and then it meets with the existing fence.
Right, but we were demoing that and just putting up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as the new fence locations, it's just that
Yeah.
side that goes to the edge of the line and then down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I got a question.
Mhm.
There's a page on here that says loft fence. I don't know what that means.
Did it say slope or slopes?
But maybe it meant sloped and I thought possibly meant sloped.
It's probably a misspelling on my part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
I thought there was something out there that I wasn't familiar with. I'm like,
That's definitely sloped, and that was me in haste. I was supposed to be here by 5 or something, and
gotcha. And now I need to point out that that is an error.
I appreciate them all. It's just keep it coming. It's a good humbling experience for me.
Okay, so on the slope fence, everything's gonna be upright, but it's just moving uphill. Is that it, or is
Correct.
everything
Well, yes, that's
Okay.
downhill, but yes.
or down?
Yeah.
And then there was another question. It said that it would be capped. And I didn't understand what that meant for this type of fence.
I thought that there was a visual there, but maybe not. It's just that bottom picture really doesn't show. It's just like it's gonna be a 2x4 basically running along the top of it.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
the whole fence would be capped over the shadow box.
Correct.
And then, so the top of them, they're not dog-eared or anything like that. They're just gonna come up.
Yeah, it'll kind of, it will essentially look hidden in the street.
Okay.
Yeah. As opposed to it having like a dog ear or something.
Yeah.
We've seen any fences like that with a cap on?
haven't seen it before, but I can't say that I'd be opposed to, visually capping off the fence.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's all the material that you need. Are you gonna go pressure treated or stained? What's your final decision there?
Yeah.
I thought you were both okay, if it's.
Do you all have an opinion? Because we're honestly on the fence about it. My wife and I keep going back and forth. It's like, I don't know. That we've heard the pros and cons of both sides ad nauseum, so we're just like, it could just be a cost thing at the end of the day, and it will be pressure treated, so.
Yeah, it's up to you. And then like if it's stained, how often will you need to do maintenance on it or restain it? That's,
Yeah,
that's up to you. I just want to know, so.
the same would be the same as the deck, and it's already existing. So,
So does this end up with the pretty side on both sides? Essentially, you got boards on both sides?
yeah,
Okay.
I think we could make a motion to.
Yeah, either way.
Either, because I think they're both acceptable.
Any questions from anyone else?
No?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented. With the applicant deciding either yellow southern pine or red cedar.
I do have one thing.
Okay,
The cap on the top, you said 2x4. I'm thinking about that now, like.
the measurements aren't right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you might want,
I was just chuckling in my head because I was like that, I hope that they're not correct, so it will be
Okay.
correct. I don't know if it's 2x6 or 2x, I just made that up, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
We might want to specify something, though.
okay,
Like- I mean, I'm actually thinking more like a 1x6, like 2 as a cap. That might be kind of a little clunky on top, but
I mean, if the fence itself is really probably only 2 inches wide. Right,
well, you
It would
had a
be-
1x board and another 1x board, and then they're,
a little bit of a
Separated.
gap, so 2.5,
So-
3 inches wide at most, you would have a fence,
mhm,
right? And then the cap itself, height wise, would probably be no more than an inch.
I'm thinking, I mean, a 2x4 really is only 1.5, right?
Right, but it's still thick,
But
and it wouldn't be a two
feels
by
a little
four, but
funky.
yeah, it would be more of a decorative cap, right? Not like a
correct,
hardwood store lumber.
correct.
And what's the spacing? There was a, sorry, I should have thought of this before. Well, I just didn't know it cap. You had a thing that said that's the gap between the boards, so it's 1 5/8. But there's a board, like
On
the
the
way,
other side,
right, wait, so you've got a board and then there's something in the middle and then board.
right,
So it's gonna be, I don't know, what do you think, 4 inches roughly?
At
So
most.
probably like a 1x6 at the top
Okay.
would have a little bit of overhang
on both sides,
on
yeah,
both sides. I mean, or you could just say something that has, is wider than the fence itself. If you're gonna put a cap on there, it should be a little bit wider than the fence itself
Yeah.
and. I mean, no
No more than
deeper
an
than
inch.
1.5 inches. I mean, an inch I think would be the best,
Yeah.
but, yeah, does that sound okay to you?
It sounds fine,
Okay.
yeah. I'm, whatever you guys say, that's what we're gonna do.
1.5 by 6.
No more than one, I mean, even the 1.5, I'm just like thinking about it, it
seems
seems
thick, yeah,
thick, so I'd probably go more with a 1x for a cap, most caps are just, a little thinner. I'm guessing that's what your guy would use, are you building it yourself?
No, myself.
Yeah, what you would do anyway when you see it, you
Yeah.
just have to put something in here.
Yeah.
To cover it, and, okay, so that sounds good to you, like.
yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So continuing on the motion of approval, yellow southern pine or red cedar. If cedar, it will not be stained but left natural, and the cap dimensions will be no greater than 1 inch by 6 inches.
Second motion.
Member Lanahan,
Yes,
member McGray,
Yes.
member Ruth,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes,
motion passes.
Thank you.
nice work.
Yeah, thanks also for checking you with my spelling.
I'm sorry.
I'm Steve.
I really thought there was something out there, I'm like,
Steve,
I
Steve
don't
told me
know.
at 4:30, he's like, they need more renderings, and I was like, oh my goodness, I just gonna throw something out on the paper, so, wait,
You get those before the approval, we can get it over.
okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to 22 Boughton for the door. How you doing?
Christopher Britton from Bear Architecture. Just talking about the front door here, this project is currently under construction, was.
Yep.
Previously reviewed and approved by the commission, the owners would like to. Have the front door match the door that we already, had approved for replacement on the rear of the house, so. We're looking to, or seeking, approval of using the same door we previously got approval for on the back. Front, the existing front door is similar to the existing rear door that's now been replaced. Were both non-historic fiberglass doors. And the proposed replacement, though is very similar configuration, just a little bit better build quality than what is currently on the house. So that's the gist of it.
How's the project going in a whole?
Pretty good so far. We had a little bit of delay with some ordering of windows, but otherwise.
How about the siding? Are you guys having any issues with that? Because I think your plan was to
Right, yeah, I think they're.
remove all of that
the-
and use.
Yeah, the owners are still debating whether they're gonna remove or not.
Yeah.
Because of some of the additional costs that we have incurred. Especially with the rearmost of the rear wing. The construction of that, once we got it open, was extremely spotty. So there's been a significant amount of reframing and reinforcing to shore up that part of the house, because it was in far worse condition than expected once we got it open.
Yeah. Sorry to derail it. I was interested about that. It's a great project, but it's definitely a tall task.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed.
I don't have many questions. If anybody else have a question? I mean, this door's been approved on the same project in the rear of the house.
Well,
It's-
It's very consistent.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appropriate to me.
Sure. Yeah,
Motion passed.
I'll second that.
Member Ruth,
Yes.
member McGray,
Yes.
member Lanahan,
Yes,
Chair Olson,
Yes,
motion passes.
Thank you all for your time.
absolutely. Good luck. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is 18 State Street for signage.
Okay.
Well, let's do all of it after, just to kind of burn through this. We can do it in member items.
Someone's online, let me see. Alyssa Hardy, if 18 state, if you wanna raise your hand. I think that needs to be better, let me see.
Well, I guess. Okay. We will come back to this one. We'll just table it for the time being and revisit it at the end of the meeting. If they decide to show. Okay, next on the agenda is 14 Eastview Terrace. Can we, okay, yeah, let's come on. Yeah, we can go with that. Sorry. I almost said 14 South, sorry.
You can post it as Jack.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Welcome back.
Ellen Ryan Hall from 14 East 2, and then our architect Chris Tennessee. Who has done village projects before.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, to meet you.
So yeah, you guys came in for information only last meeting, right? Or 2 meetings ago?
2 weeks.
And you want to explain kind of the overview of the project and kind of walk us through the application or?
So, we live at 14 East View. Our house, has that, distinct peak out front. It's currently a 3-bedroom, 1 bath upstairs. And then, we're the third owners. The first owners took the carriage house and flipped it and attached it to the house a very long time ago. And they had initially converted that to a 1-car garage and then put in a bathroom and made it a 4-bedroom, I guess. And then the middle owners, the previous owners, made that just entirely a den area. So this nice back den, which has a sloped roof since it's previously a carriage house from what we understand. But that has left us with a garage for our cars. So we've been living now 7 years, very interested in having a garage, 2-car garage. So we are interested in building, we have a very neat property because previous owners purchased a lot behind us in the 70s. And so everything is just, up front, we have a very nice yard in the back behind that. We would like to put a 2-car garage at the end of our driveway, which would have a slight overlap with the house. And then, while we're at it, we're interested in bumping out. So when they attach the carriage house, there's still like a gap. We're not gonna do anything to the beautifully, the den. But there's space between our second floor and that den roof, and we would like to bump out the second floor. We have 3 children. We would like to add a bedroom, bathroom up on that second floor. None of that is visible from the street, slightly visible, as you're walking by, but it's all pretty, it's only adding 100 and change square feet to the first floor to allow, it was kind of filling in this L shape, that's currently on our first floor plan to allow us to go above that, and then give us a bedroom like that.
I'll just add the garage will be on the spot of the curb from the existing shed, which is above the asphalt, so, no foundation, in very poor repair. The garage is not connected, so when we say overlap, we mean there's no daylight from the front, but as you move to the side, you'll be able to see through to the backyard. And then, as Ellen described, no changes to the front of the house, via the addition.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, no, I think you guys may have made some design changes already from when you brought in back in May.
We dropped the garage, we decided, to leave it as so it'll be a one, a typical garage, 1-story with lofted storage space.
Perfect. While we're at that on the garage, can we talk about the side door with that gable roof that hangs off to the other side? Is that needed? Because I think it's a really sharp garage, and proportionally, it looks well with the house, as well as the style. But that if it didn't have that side staircase for some reason, or entry door, or I'm not really sure what.
Yeah. It's just that side, off the side that you're speaking of, is the door to the garage with some storage space behind that. And there will be a landing. Right now, there's a deck coming out the back of the family room.
Okay,
That's elevated
Shown
2
right there.
steps above the ground. So from the garage, you'll step up to a landing and then up to the deck surface, walk across the deck to a new covered area, to get to the mudroom.
right.
So,
We had
Absolutely, the
absolutely,
spacing beyond the 2 cars, so
right,
without
Right.
that door, we can't fit a lawnmower in when the 2 cars are parked.
Yeah.
Which starts to,
So,
in that door, the garage, there's a porch on the existing house that's on the left. And the drive goes around this porch to get to the garage. So the door in the garage coming out to the deck will actually be hidden behind the house.
I know, so I want to maybe change the perception of like viewable from the street. We don't take into consideration like just like this exact view,
Right,
okay? If you're walking past it, you will absolutely be able to see that door.
of course.
Okay, so I know, and then same with the addition on the side of the house where I think you mentioned earlier, you wouldn't be able to see it from the street. There won't be a spot where any of this is done that won't be viewable other than the back of the house. So But I just want to make that clear. So if you walk around the village and one of the things that the preservation board is meant for and does a really good job of is trying to make sure that whatever we do in the village fits in. And everything about this garage fits in except for that side door with the gable roof hanging off the side. So if I'm not really sure what to tell you, how to design it or how to do the layout or like for the garage, excuse me, for the lawnmowers and whatnot. If you walk around the village and you took off this edge right here, this gable, that garage right there would fit in perfectly with many other garages. But if you walked around the village and looked at, you wouldn't ever really see anything with that type of style. So I understand exactly why you guys want this, and I don't think that that's out of the ordinary. And I don't think it's out of your guys' right and our guidelines and our village code, but as far as like architecturally and looking at it, that was like one of the main things that I'm like, all right, let's try and work about something. Maybe the garage needs to be 5 feet deeper, if that's allowable by the planning and zoning board. So there is more space back there instead of being wider for storage. Can we go a little deeper? Because that definitely wouldn't be seen from this sidewalk or looking
I
at
just
it.
got across the street from us, the corner of East View, the blue house, in the corner of East Street, Jefferson. Her garage looks a lot like that one. It has, like the garage is across the street from us. It has a basketball hoop. I don't know if she's actually technically East or Jefferson. But her garage has, you know, it's two-car garage, has the window, it looks a lot like ours.
Mhm.
One side goes farther, her door's on the side.
Yeah.
But so like the garage itself is asymmetrical, right? So from the front, you have the garage door, you have the window, and then the roof goes kind of extra long, the garage door is not centered, and the
Yeah.
door's on the side. That to me is weirder than doing it this way.
I agree. I'm not sure if this is the one you're talking about, that's in Jefferson, but there was one where they built, maybe it's just 2-car garage, but in order to make it appear smaller, they did something actually very similar. Where they have the gable only over part of it, and then the other part is kind of side gable.
Mhm.
And I wish I had that, I knew which house it was, so I could look it up, but that was the only application where I saw that something was done like that, where there's a smaller gable. And it was really just to reduce the massing of it, because it's a pretty big building that was put behind it. And I want to say it might even be a 3-car garage. Sounds kind of crazy, actually, in the village, so maybe it's just 2. But would you be opposed to if the gable was just bigger and it had a door? Because that wouldn't be.
Which gable?
Well, you're looking at this, like you don't like the side gable, that.
Well, it's not
massing on the
necessarily
side?
that it's my preference. This isn't me saying I don't like it. That's
Yeah,
not how I
I
do
didn't-
that.
I didn't say
I'm
that.
saying more on what we see in the village and making sure that garages look like other garages in the village.
Yeah, no, I
And this isn't
agree
anything
it's
that I
a
would-
little different, because it gives it more of a house feel than an outbuilding feel.
Yeah,
But would you, like, what if the gable was just bigger and, they had the doors and side door to go in, there definitely are
what I think
garage
is
doors.
what looks really good already is this proposed front elevation, how it meets the property and fits in with it. Let's see.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it would definitely look more like other garages, that you're thinking of.
See that the doors are recessed back, so in that, the door would then be brought up.
Well,
which
they
is
could
something else.
they could just have it recessed back and have a column out there, which they kind of do anyway, right? Or maybe not.
There's not a column.
There's not a column because there's no roof over
There is
it,
yeah.
right? I guess I see what you're saying. It would still have a space. They did something, it was something weird on that one of the corner of Wood and South. Actually, I didn't like that, where they put a wall. I thought that was really odd. I don't know, I guess I wouldn't be opposed to a larger gable, although this didn't really bother me that much either.
I just wasn't sure if a double gable, like to have the gable centered over the garage doors and then bring the ridge up to come down on the side so that it's just one, well, two really piece. If that would be preferable in the village, seems a little more modern than what is around the village.
I think there are a fair amount, I mean, my house has a 2-car garage with 1 gable but the door is on the side.
Right.
But it has enough space on the side to have,
To get in.
storage and lawnmower, and
Right.
so it's just a little bit wide, it's not 1 door.
Mhm.
But I think, mine's also from 1930, so I think you could probably get 1 door for the 2 of them, but there's like, if you can imagine, there's a door and a door. And, rudimentary, but you got like a little extra space there, a little extra space between, and a little extra
Right.
space there. Once you get into the garage,
Yeah,
you'd have enough storage space.
it's a little bit too that the way that the garage needs to be placed on the lot and the drive goes around.
Right, your driveway has to be a little wider.
Right, and then there is a deck there, which I know we talked about, maybe that it's updated or something, but it is off the corner of that family room, so the garage can't get too much wider, because it'll go to the south too much.
Like the actual doors that you have to drive under the garage.
Yeah.
Hmm. I guess I do think that the option of having storage at the back
Yeah,
solves most of the problems, except for your door would probably be at the back, not off of your deck, where it would be preferable.
I mean, it could still be there. I'm not sure if that works or not.
We also have a key. We have a pit, so leaving out the back of our garage. That would become that stairs.
And it becomes much taller from there if we build out of the hill, like there's just a lot more material now that is facing. Our rear neighbors are now looking into a very large garage, if we have to build out over the hill. Then if we are to-
Yeah.
Maybe much taller from their angle than it is.
So why is this gable all the way up to front? It's not. Is there a covered area? Where's
Right here. It's
floor
like-
plan?
oh,
Like
floor plan.
this gable,
Oh, it might be on the
why is it
exact
coming all the,
opposite
I mean, what if it was just a smaller gable on the side?
Yeah, just,
And it just looked more like, because I don't see why that gable is going all the way to the front of the building.
There is a column for a little cover space.
Oh, so there is a column there.
Oh, gosh, I know, right there. No, you're good.
Oh, you're
Um,
And the roof pitch of that side gable on the garage is matching the roof pitch of the house, front to back gable.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if that's
Maybe. it's
super
there.
important because you've got this fabulous, defining feature of a very, very steep gable in the front.
Mhm.
That,
Can't match that one.
you can't match
No,
it.
garage would be 40 feet tall.
You wouldn't want to match that one, but you've already got different gables going on at the house, and so I guess I wouldn't think you need to match the same gable, but if you're looking for a little less of a presence and have it look like it is just, storage, like it's a shed that's on the side of your garage, you can certainly make that look smaller, by having that gable on the side not come all the way up to the.
all the way to the front, right here. Yeah,
Yeah, and then this would be lower too, because it would just be like a little side.
yeah, like
um,
this right here. It'd be like that.
Yeah, something I enjoy is this cascading roof line that you've designed and the way that the garage is diminished by being the lowest, like almost the
Mhm.
lowest part of that. So it really, the garage recedes, which I think is in keeping with most of the garages
Right.
around the village. So I'm really enjoying that. Busy drawing that.
House.
Well, we can certainly bring.
I mean, does it give it a little more?
Yeah,
But because of this interesting complexity that you've designed in the roof and all the, it's like, very, it looks very
That
natural.
makes it
because
look like it's
houses,
when it's
are
lower.
modified over the years, adding, you know, additions
Maybe
and
don't,
changing
don't have the
things.
cover
And so,
at the front, because it's not like it extends all the way to the house.
um,
So you're gonna have to go out in the rain.
Yeah,
Anyway.
so having this smaller, like you say, smaller gable off the
Yeah.
side would add to that, changing roof line, which is,
yeah, I do agree with that, as well as what Tina suggested as well.
So.
So we
lower
keep-
gable with
keep-
a flat pit and
yeah,
take
just on the part on
What
the
if you
side.
just don't have that gable come all the way to the front?
Right,
Old eyes.
Like if you didn't have the covered area.
So
Right,
it'd be
it
more
gets
like
a little
this.
smaller,
It'd get a
yeah,
little lower, and then on the proposed front elevation.
right,
It would more align right here.
sure,
Just have a little smaller profile.
Yep.
Looks like a
And-
storage area.
yeah,
Instead of like part of the main structure.
and then this would be down here.
Exactly,
and then that visually would step down like.
Sure,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
I think
just
so.
for the record,
yeah.
what is the design principle that the current design is violating that is satisfied by this modified design? Because
It's size and scale, really. If you look at it, it's the size of that. It's the size of that side gable that really shouldn't be there. And the fact that it meets the roof line up above makes it feel far too large and like you wouldn't see it in the village. So if it was up to what I would say, it would be just build the garage as I was discussing earlier. And if you can make it deeper, do that. And if not, you know, it's the style of garages that should be built. If you want the roof line to be lower, like we just suggested, and make the gable smaller and not cover that door, it just feels like it would be more ancillary from the main structure of the garage.
This one, yeah. Mhm.
And if you have the right, if you're like, no, that's not what I want, this is exactly what I want, then we'll obviously take that into consideration, but if it's what we're trying to do as a preservation board and look at a new structure in the village and how we would want it to look in the neighborhoods and how it feels on the streets, then this is what I interpret it as. And there's 5 members on the board. I know I probably talked the most, and I wish I didn't have to,
want
but
specific enough principle to execute, we have an architect on contract, these
Yeah.
iterations cost money and time, and winter is coming, and so we just want clear guidance and go off as.
I mean, as a layperson, I feel like the outbuildings around the village vary widely.
yeah,
So it is hard for me to say, oh yeah, it doesn't look, there are just a very big variation of outbuildings
Yeah.
all over the village, so that's hard for me, you know, why not this one? If it had been 80 years ago, like the building was fine, but now we can't, you know. Yeah, it's really important to me that we keep the site plan. So if we're able to drop the gable and keep the site plan, that's great.
okay, should we talk about the house? Or do we want to talk about the garage anymore?
I don't have anything else
Okay,
about the garage, if you're amenable to, you know, what seems to be appealing
yeah,
on this board. As far as the house, I thought it was a very appropriate addition and will really add to your property.
Yeah.
I did have a question just because I haven't used it before about the hardy shingle and how it matches with your existing shingle.
That won't be the house, that's only the garage.
That's only the garage.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
We'll use cedar shingle.
Okay, because yeah, I was thought like the interface with it, it's just, I don't know how that's
do
gonna
that.
look.
Yeah. House will be cedar.
Okay, and it looked like you had pillow wood windows?
That was, so our hopeful builder, that's his favorite. I really am not married to a brand whatsoever.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, that's what he said.
Top of the line, so I think that's an excellent choice. That's all I had on that.
Can we talk about adding in windows on the proposed right side elevation? And correct me if I'm wrong on looking at these drawings, where there is shaded sidings is technically new.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And thank you for that. That was one of the things that we were saying last time.
Yeah.
So if you look at the proposed right side elevation,
Yes.
there is a large run of the home that doesn't have any windows on the first floor.
Yeah.
Can we add something in to kind of match what you see from the proposed left side elevation?
I think that we could add a window over the washer and dryer. Right now, if you look at the first floor plan, there's that little, this little piece right here, right there. There's no windows right here, and this long wall is just, there's one little window in the bathroom.
Mhm.
That's it.
Tiny little window.
Yeah, so that's all that there is right now on that long wall. So we could take a small window and put it over the washer and dryer. That would,
Oh, okay, so this is just like the back half of the house going this way.
And that would mimic that
Yeah.
small window.
Right,
the
this
other
right
side.
here.
This little window
That would look
there.
really nice.
But we don't have the.
This right here?
No, this elevation is this elevation.
Yeah.
All of these rooms kind of have stuff that make it difficult with windows, but they're proposing a window over this washer and dryer right here, which I think would look a lot better for the outside of your house, although I hesitated to say it because I see what you're trying to put in there and it's challenging with those rooms to have windows, but I think you'd be much happier with the elevation on the side of the house and
right,
with the
Yeah,
window,
exactly.
because
I think
it's
there
a
should be
pretty
something.
long.
yeah,
Well,
it would
not
probably
something
line up
else too.
with the rearmost window on the second floor that we're adding. So we can line that up on the first floor.
Yeah, so on this elevation, there'd be a little window down there, which I think it'd be
Right.
good.
It's just too monolithic, it's just too
Yep.
long, we need to add in a window or two. And like Abigail said, maybe a mirrored small square window to the right of the two windows.
Yes,
I don't know, I mean, that's in their existing room.
That's existing,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's like
And-
this weird, yeah, it's this strange space they filled in between the main house and the carriage room, it's narrow, so they have like a covered floor right there.
Okay,
I don't, you couldn't really put a window on that side.
okay.
I mean, I think that this is probably the best you're gonna get for that stretch
Yeah.
there, and I think it would be really beneficial to the elevation to have something there and then.
Yeah, I mean,
Some-
we'll take south side windows as much as we can.
Yeah.
I just don't know what's possible in some other rooms. If they, you know, long.
a transom or
ways,
something. I think if we have this, we can get a window that sort of matches the ones that are in the living room, the little, square, and put one of those. down there.
Transoms are nice too. I have one. I know you have transom windows, right?
I
Like
do.
3 of them up high.
Over
maybe-
cabinetry on both sides of a
It's like.
fireplace, but to have one just like,
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just saying, out of, an idea. That would-
yeah,
Yeah,
like this, if you're talking about like. One of these little windows,
Right.
but popping it in
Yep.
there, and I think that would be great.
Yeah.
And you do have a lot of windows that are kind of. Actually, I mean, they're not all over the place, but you wouldn't have to be too fussy about it, I
Yeah.
think, because.
Yeah,
It's already,
Well, it's a nice eclectic
Yeah.
mix
Mhm.
there. But if it could, pretty much line up with that upper story window, that would probably be the home run. For sure.
yes.
Um,
and then, is there an option to center the proposed left side, the north elevation, that new window? can that be centered or is that out of view as well, or out of options as well?
Oh, and the bedroom upstairs.
Well, so this roof right here with this little square window, that is the existing carriage house roof. So it's just continuing up to the bedroom. Is that what you're
Oh, no,
talking
I'm
about?
talking about, the proposed left side elevation
Oh,
Oh, the bathroom,
of the second story.
the master bathroom.
Oh, it's
window.
bath window?
I think that'd be hard. You'd really have to.
It's the shower.
the shower.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um, but I don't.
from our view, we only, I really, even when I see interior floor plans, I don't even look at them, I'm only what's,
It's true, we're really not.
I really don't,
consider
yeah.
that, But I don't think it's objectionable. I actually think like, given the massing of that space, having that window a little off is not,
Mhm.
and I think is sometimes when you look at it flat on,
Yeah,
it looks more
Drastic.
dramatic and drastic than it will in 3D. But when you see that in 3D, yeah, as long as it's not smashed in the corner, which it isn't, you have a very nice proportion of space there. I think it's gonna look good.
um. We always go through materials as well, roofing. Roofing material will be the matched existing,
Yeah, we'll have to do a whole new roof on the house.
Okay.
That'll match it.
match existing roof. We already talked about the siding, the windows, the new windows.
Oh. Please.
Okay, perfect. How about the roof overhang, that will all match? As well as on the garage, that'll all match too, the roof overhangs and everything?
The garage roof will match.
Okay. I know in some drawings, it's just lower detail and we just want to make sure we don't get any of these like boxed off overhangs. So I just always say that on any new additions or buildings. Also, I mean, even on the gable, going back to the garage, you have that side small roof, I don't know the technical term for it, that matches the overhang of the garage. I mean, is that even needed? Is that more a design element that you guys want added in on your guys' preference, or is that?
Sorry,
Well,
oh, this
It's
is,
just a little design piece?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a design element that I've seen on a lot of outbuildings.
Okay.
I have one in my garage.
Yeah,
Certainly not out of place. And especially since they've got stuff that wraps around the.
Oh, right,
floor
right,
That
yeah.
has a lower, that kind of cuts the mass in half. and,
yeah,
That's, I think it would seem appropriate.
mhm.
It's kind of nice to break up the mass with a little
yeah,
something.
with something. Okay, what's next? What do we want to talk about next? Thank you for outlining all of this too. This was helpful.
You didn't talk about the garage doors, but they all seem acceptable.
Yeah, I think that they're all
And
acceptable.
the
It's the
lighting
new,
also is acceptable.
yep.
Do you have some craftsman detailing on the house? That you're trying to match? I guess you got this 6 over 4 windows. Everybody likes a craftsman. Garage door.
Garage door, yeah, they're definitely popular.
It's not like the most like out there craftsman door, so. I think you do have a front door, don't you? That has maybe like a 6-pane,
There's a bunch of panes.
yeah. It would look nice.
These are aluminum clad windows. That's, are you gonna have aluminum clad, fellow windows?
To be honest, this was me putting in what's, talking with a builder, getting the brand name, looking on the website. I mean, he's gonna, we'll make sure the style and materials are appropriate for what's necessary. Is there a problem with what's on there? We don't,
Remember that. Something we've approved before.
It's a aluminum clad window, I believe you have. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
We're almost at 25 minutes for this application.
That's a, thank you. Um. All right, what other questions? If any,
I didn't have any other concerns.
okay, do we wanna work this all into a motion, or do we need to revisit this next month? And how does it work with your guys' timeline? What's best for you guys? There's a lot that, like with the window placements and sizing. I know Alexander doesn't like this, but do you guys need a special meeting like in like 2 or 3 weeks, or can you wait till the August meeting for a final approval? Does that work for you guys? Cause like you said,
It's 3 weeks away.
oh, is it? really?
Yeah, and we
Okay,
don't have staffing to do a meeting before.
okay,
I think we can do a proposal that gives details for the addition of that window. I don't
Okay.
think,
yeah,
we say.
and the new roof line,
Um,
that's what you guys, if you guys wanna go with
Yeah.
that, okay.
So just to lower that, right, can that just be a
provisional.
provision in the minutes?
I think so. I think if we word it such that, you're just gonna pull that back from the front gable. And so it lowers the roof so that it's not meeting
Right.
the top of the other ridge line.
Yeah,
It's
And then adding that window.
and then adding the
should have
window.
those two things.
I can put that in the CFA too, the certificate of appropriateness.
And this window, we'll just say to, as closely match the existing small window.
Right,
Um,
well,
and
not even a small one, though. I feel like if as big as a window you could get to match that, it's a really long run of the house, if you see it in person,
well,
to have just the small. This is
Yep.
the window you're talking
But they
about,
are
right?
limited by what's inside the house.
yeah.
But I don't wanna limit to them to saying match. If
Oh,
there's,
right,
if you
okay.
can get a double hung in there, the side of that house will look so much better.
Well, okay, but as far as placement, are you
That's
okay with
what
any
I mean.
placement, or do you wanna, it sounds like it's gonna be probably the
I think the fact that we don't,
laundry room
there-
area.
yeah, and if this was a incredibly symmetrical home already, we'd be able, with window placement, we'd be able to call it out, but I think that there's some flexibility in the window placement based on the other windows that are already
mhm.
in the best fit spot based on the interior rooms.
Okay. So it kind of at their discretion, where they would like to place a window, that there will be at least one window. Placed along
Yeah.
the new right side elevation. Okay. Then I think that's those two
I think so too.
things we can get them going, because.
Are you guys okay with all of that?
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, then I'll make a motion to approve the application with the following provisions. On the proposed right side of the home, there's an added window on the first floor. Preferably a double hung window. If that does not work, to match the single pane window on the existing right side of the house. But I really do think that there should be a double hung in there. That's just aesthetically. And then on the garage, where is this? I don't want to look at. Excuse me. The front elevation, the proposed front elevation of the garage. That the gable is decreased to look more of a auxiliary or ancillary feature to the main structure of the garage. By Do we want to add in a percentage or of height, or just leave it up to the discretion of them, which
I
is
think-
very dangerous? Not dangerous, but
Um,
outside of what we would normally do, but we're trying to work with your guys' timeline.
yeah, I guess I wouldn't be able to give a percentage. I think just that it creates a smaller profile and that it doesn't come up to meet the ridge line.
Yeah.
You know,
Of the main proposed
Yeah.
elevation.
so it's pulled back from the front, enough to achieve a smaller profile, a
Okay.
lower profile. Um. I,
It will, and then, are you guys okay with that it'll be this style, right? It'll just go to the front of the door right here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then that will define the
Right,
height of the
yeah,
gable.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Did we miss anything?
the. I kind of touched on this before. I'm not familiar with this hardy shingle material, but you guys have talked.
Yeah, it's hardy clapboard. Is that what your guys are going with?
No, it's shingle.
Oh, it's shingle?
Yeah.
We have to, so it's
The garage.
Yeah.
It's for the garage only.
I wanted to-
It just has a profile that, I just haven't seen it in application before, but I thought you guys had. I feel like it came up on another application.
of the by soil understanding it, and I know that the garage on Monroe was gonna request it, did they get approved of it?
No, they did, normal shingles.
They had special case though.
That was a special case, and then, what they wanted to do was actually go to a clapboard board rather than the
Oh,
hardy shingle, because the spacing in between the shingles looked, like.
A little more dramatic.
Yeah, it was too spaced.
That's why I was concerned about it with your,
Yeah,
It looked, I mean.
on your house.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I assumed it wouldn't match what you had in the house, but on its own building, I
Yeah.
think Hardy in general is a good product.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't,
and on
I
the
wanted you
building.
guys to. You have more experience. with
Yeah.
it.
No, I think if that's the material on the siding of a new structure, if that's what you guys want, then that's fine. I think this is opening up the conversation more, but if you did go with a clapboard, it would kind of separate itself from the home in a way that would make it look like its own structure, not trying to.
I would be totally in favor of that. I didn't know if we had the option of being so different.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact,
Shingles.
that was, absolutely. Yeah,
So you prefer the clapboard over the shingle?
Which you're talking about this.
Yes.
yep,
I'm nervous, sure,
No,
got it. Yes, and that is what I saw on this.
Yeah, they use the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'll make that note.
I'll make that note.
And this, I'm opening a can of worms, does it have to color match exactly the house?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. you
We
can
don't
do
do any color.
you want.
Oh.
We don't have
Okay,
color
yeah,
for
sounds
it.
good. Okay.
I did want to also make a comment about we didn't. Talk about any of the detailing around the windows. I'm assuming on your house that there's a wood surround,
Yes,
and sill, and you're gonna match all of that. for your-
yes,
your
yes,
new
matches,
space.
yeah,
Okay,
right,
that would be something that we would generally assume, but we probably need it in
sure.
writing in there. And then that's for the garage as well as the house. We would try to match
Yeah.
the detail from the
Both.
garage. Okay. So the window surrounds
To match the.
and fill
existing.
should match existing detail.
Yep. And then on the garage, the proposed siding is gonna be changed to clapboard. Which will look really nice. You guys will like that.
Hardy plank
Hardy plank clapboard.
with the smooth.
That's what Steve's name.
Yeah.
Yes, he's already said that. Yeah.
Okay, Alexander, did you get all of that?
The transcript got all, of it, yeah. I was following along, I'll get it.
Okay,
Um,
did I miss anything? I don't think so either. And then do I have a second?
Second.
I'll take member Root second. Member Lanahan,
Yes.
member McRae,
Yes.
member Root,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes,
motion passes.
awesome, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for working with us. Thank you very much for working with us, and I'm glad we got it done rather than having to go to another meeting. So thank you.
The really nice guy.
Feel very enjoyed. Okay. right, we'll do findings of facts afterwards.
14.
Oh, I won't be as long.
Hang on.
I'm,
Did you hear me at the beginning? I tried to sneak you in early. In front of that account.
almost past my bedtime. I'm Louisa Pearson or Louisa Pearson, 14 South Street. You all have a beautiful application. There's one thing in it that it is incorrect. And the original application, this is based on the original application from 2024. There's a photo of a metal roof. That's what I applied, what I wanted in 2024. We tabled it because the Stark Restoration before at the time wanted me to use asphalt, which I am not, won't do. Okay, so here's the house, there are all sorts of photos of it. You have, the boards are here, it's the guy who's doing it is the same guy who did the Stone Poland house. And that's the same quality of cedar shake that will go on Stone Poland house.
Cannot argue with the cedar shake roof.
No, not at all.
It's you know. Take it more historic.
No, yeah.
And,
And yeah, thank you for coming back in and thank you for your patience and for the letter. When I saw the applicant or the application, I was quick to read through this to see where we stood
Yeah.
from our last time that you're here. I can't believe that was 2 years ago. So do we have any questions or any comments?
Are you gonna stand?
What?
Are you gonna stand or are you gonna leave it natural?
Oh, I can leave it natural, yeah,
Okay, it's pretty.
should age nicely
Absolutely.
and last longer than I will, so there you go.
Any questions?
I have no question.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve the application as presented with the comments from the letter dated June 15th, 2026, that the applicant is now returning, asking permission to replace the asphalt roof with cedar shake and will be using the century specific roofing and restoration that's installed on the cedar shake at Stone Common House.
Second,
Member McRae,
Yes.
member Lanahan,
Yes.
member Root,
yes.
Chair Olson.
Yes,
Motion backward.
Thank you all.
thank you very much.
See you around.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dan walks his babies by all the time. Good babies. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Lisa.
Next person.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost my agenda.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Can State Street.
Hello, stop feedback in 9 Jackson Park.
So they're following along and change order.
Okay.
And Tom, you're the owner?
Yes.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So tell us what you're trying to do. What do you want to do tonight?
Well, I'm gonna replace one window that's in our bathroom because it's an old house and the window is so warped, it's like it's open. And that's the same style window that's on the addition when I converted the garage into the family room.
Okay,
That's the same brands, so. That one out. And then I was gonna replace 3 doors because they're so old and warped. That it's so inefficient. There's a front door, which I can't find one that matches. It's not like over the craftsman door. And then the 2 side doors are really beat up pretty bad. And there's like old metal, doors that put on the outside, screen doors.
yeah,
I'll be removing those are kind of an accident. You know, the doors are fiberglass, you see they have a wood exterior, a darker wood on the outside and a lighter wood on the inside. So let it grab some door design plan, and you can get the picture, it's great.
Christine, can you have some examples of end-century doors?
I didn't see this one until I got here because I didn't come through on the other. On the one online, this application, I missed it. I was a little concerned about the craftsman door with your really lovely mid-century house.
Okay.
I think it would be more appropriate to have a mid-century door, but it sounds like you've had some trouble
The
finding
only
one.
thing I find is like those three lined up. There's nothing where it's an angle like
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, I don't think, it wouldn't have to match the one that you have, but just to have more of the styling that goes with your house. It's like, I don't know if there's another house in the village like your house. It really is unique and lovely. And, I guess I would really like to see
Something more than central.
yeah, the craftsman doesn't really go with a mid-century. There's some of them,
My wife thinks so.
well, you know, there are some that you can kind of make go with it. Like,
Lines up.
I think California craftsmen sometimes fall under the, you know, maybe a little mid-century, but, I don't know, it's, I'm surprised that you did say you did find some, but not with the different
No,
offset windows. Mid-century is so popular right now that I feel like there've got to be some options
Yeah,
out there.
Canada for this, I mean, because otherwise they're cheap Home Depot doors, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, I mean, if you could get a better door than a Home Depot, I would.
And the side doors are just so pathetic, it's like you walk by and the windows open.
Yeah.
There's a gap and the cement underneath is eroded. And even the front doors are pain because the guy built it right on top of the slate. So when it snows, you can't open the door, it's locked in. Didn't.
Oh, I see.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Most of it.
right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like what,
and I would get rid of that storm door too and then a full class door.
Mhm.
do you have a price range that you're looking at for the doors? Cause I know, I mean, you certainly can get a door for a lot of money, but,
Well, this door was $8,000.
it's 8,000. Okay, yeah, I don't want to send you away without like a thing, but I would be remiss in not saying that the craftsman's not the right style for your house.
Okay, well, we can
But-
do something different.
But I do like just looking up, well, I'm looking at mid-century wood doors, but you're looking for a wood with a fiberglass interior.
Right.
Um,
We were working with Rochford Colonial, they had some kind of version of that.
um,
And it's not important that the front door match those side doors.
Right.
They can be completely different.
One of the side doors is a touch door, which is kind of cool. It's just.
Oh, it's
over to sitting.
This one,
Yes. Yeah, see how it splits in the middle?
Yeah. right here.
And of course that. But I just thought better if they all match.
Yeah, I don't see a picture here of the bathroom window that you're proposing. Is that?
I mean, maybe if it just didn't have the
Um,
highly decorated glass.
It's such an amazing home, that door.
It does, I mean, there's a lot of.
I'm sure you're right about it, drafting,
You know,
so
like
it helps us if we have a
have the-
photograph of it.
Sure.
Home and decorative glass maybe, that really. I don't know if I'm nitpicking here.
No,
but,
I had similar comments.
It really, I mean, part of it is too, I just really love that house.
I walk by it all the time too.
And, it would be a shame to, not stay consistent with the style.
Is it our job, should we provide some?
You know,
If they're,
could, I just think there's so many, like mid-century is pretty wide. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be something like. Really anything that falls under the mid-century, but probably not the highly stylized glass. Like if you wanted that door. With just a plain glass instead of the, you know, very craftsman style glass. I think that would be okay, but if you could find a door, I just don't know how to like let you go tonight without
Right.
having an approved
do you,
door.
do you like the idea of a glass door that would let in light into your living room.
Well, I do relative amount of privacy, that's why they kind of did the leaded glass that, you know.
Well, there are, yeah, there are tinted glasses or patterned glasses that would still be appropriate for that time frame. What is the date of your house?
Still 48.
48, okay.
What's the, is this from Rochester Colonial? That they're,
The front door,
Yeah,
and then who's the brand of door? Signet? I was just gonna look up their website and see if there was something else that, although if you've looked at them all, and this is the one your wife
well, they
liked.
do have some with like. Line up like that, but they do have those, there's in a row. Kind of mid-century, remember they did like three skinny and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
War, there's those kind too, we went back and forth on that. That would match better.
I think it would. And
so,
yeah, so we could approve it. But
well, so can we split this into two approvals? Can we do the other side doors, the two other side doors and the window tonight? And then can we maybe let you have a little bit more time on what would be more appropriate and find the right door? Rather than trying to push it through, I mean,
Yeah.
And-
good with it.
you know, I understand the time of year, but
My daughter's really, my wife wants to change it. 'Cause
yeah,
You gotta throw yourself into it to close it, cause it's warped and,
yeah.
you know, one of those.
I think you'll be able to find the right door that fits the house and the styling, rather than what's selected here, with the decorative glass in it. But going to the other doors, do we have any questions on the other doors
No,
and the window presented? It looks as if the existing, oh, that's a screen door and the screen door. We don't have any comments on the screen door.
Yeah, those can go. with
Yep.
it. Let's see, so this is like the doors, the windows that I put on in the addition when I redid the garage.
Yep,
And that's what'll mask the bathroom, because the bathroom has that kind of window too.
nice if there's consistency like that.
Yeah,
and what about the color of the doors? Are you gonna do this
yeah,
brown?
the dark wood and the
Dark wood.
light wood on the inside.
Oh, to match this one right here, or no?
Yeah, those are the outside, so those will go away, those metal things, and then that, and this will be
Okay.
the same door will be the
I don't,
doors.
can you see this from public way?
No,
You can see from the canal path.
Okay, but that's on the far side of the canal path.
Right, yeah, because this property is right on the canal.
Okay.
Bad news, it's just as expensive. What isn't right?
Yeah.
it won't get any cheaper.
No, no.
So let's go to the, let's table the front door for now
Okay.
and move through the rest of the application.
I like your idea of splitting it into.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the best thing for time as well. So, do we have any other questions on the doors, the two doors and the window?
Layout of the panels gonna be like the existing one where it goes horizontal, or it's gonna go to the. Like the bottom panels where they're like this, it's gonna be like that, or they're gonna go to vertical,
They're gonna go like that because they don't make them like this anymore.
okay?
The company we were using, so they have to go like that. That's why I thought I'd match them both, so that might be consistent.
Okay, so like, instead of two windows, you're going to three windows on
Yes.
both doors.
Yeah.
On the match.
Because this one has three on it,
Yeah.
right?
So-
One has
And they
three,
don't
one
make
has
it
two.
two anymore, so it has to be a three. Who we're using. But that'd be better if they both match.
Are you guys all right with that, the design change?
Yes. I am. How about you?
I think again, it's a little bit less, but it's not as obvious
Yeah,
a difference. I think the glass,
the front door.
well, the front door definitely is more of a statement piece, and then I think that the glass arrangement is more prominent than
Yep.
the bottom of the door, and also, like, it's not visible. But like that,
Mhm.
without getting a custom door done, which would end up being.
Okay,
I
then,
think I'm okay with it, I guess is the long, the long way of saying, I think it'll be fine.
okay, then I'll make a motion to approve part of this application. And the application portion that we're approving are the two new doors on the side of the home. And they'll be approved as presented, as well as the window in the bathroom to match the existing windows of the home. And then we'll table the front door portion of the application. For either August or September, whenever you have a door that's more bare century.
Probably more September.
Okay.
The daughter and in August.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Real. Is that an okay, motion? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Member McRae,
Yes?
member Lanahan,
Yes.
member Root,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes,
motion passes.
perfect. All right, thank you.
All right,
So you,
appreciate it.
yep,
Get back in until. Okay. Have a good night.
thank you. All right, so next up is 51 Heatherhurst. Yeah, absolutely. I wish Steve was here, Paul Scan.
Yeah, it's painting anything. It's
Yeah.
very, it's in the summer.
Yeah,
Good evening.
welcome.
I'm Mike Kelly here for
Nice to meet
myself,
you.
my wife and my general.
Nice to meet you.
During the great storm of June 18th, the tree fell on our house. And
Unbelievable. Is everyone okay?
Remarkably, yes.
Were you guys in the house?
No, and it
Good.
came through my daughter's playroom
Oh
as
my
well.
gosh, yeah.
So we're basically, we have to replace the roof. Insurance is.
Of the home?
Of the home.
Okay,
We're gonna replace it in kind, and I'm even trying my best to match the color, because I think it's perfectly fine.
yeah,
But the sunroom was immediately condemned.
Yeah.
And the way the sunroom is built with that low pitch shed style roof, there's no real way to increase the pitch and make the maintenance easier and reduce the amount of water holding and leaking that's already going on
yeah,
without, I don't know, digging down another 2 feet and there's no way to create headroom in there. It's really odd the way it was built. The beams are sort of.
oh, you mean make it sunken?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
like,
want-
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So being that I already have to replace the roof, I think the best course of action is to do a gabled roof in the back. Throughout our neighborhood, we have all these sort of white post kind of open outdoor spaces. Some are porches, like I think especially the green branch that you see right when you come in. They're aluminum wrapped columns for the most part. I don't think there's any way to execute that on the deck. I don't even know if it's appropriate. So right now the sunroom is painted pressure treated lumber. I personally would go with that. I don't know if you would have any cause to recommend a PVC wrapped column. But then I don't know how I would like resolve that out into the the actual sort of framed walls of the sunroom,
Yeah,
right? Because those really kind of do exist best as painted pressure treated lumber.
yeah, most likely. And over time and in our climate. Probably the best.
And so right now, the way it was built is sort of incomprehensible to me. There's like a 2-course CMU foundation with floor joists and some sort of plywood directly on top of it, no venting, no, it's not tied into the foundation at all. So what I'd like to do is abandon that in place and grade up to it, because it is sort of keeping water off of the wet side of the house. And then just pour pier footing and rebuild it as a pressure treated deck. And then the main significant change is adding that gable. So it'd be keeping
really keeping the same footprint.
Okay. Wow, you've had a busy few months then. Are you doing the work yourself? Did you do this design?
So I did, and I just sketched that, talk with contractors and to bring to Steve,
Yeah,
for an informational meeting, and he said, well, like, put some dimensions on it and submit it for approval. I said,
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yep, so I did the sketch and I came to the design in conversation with. A couple of architect friends and a couple of contractors who've come by. I
yeah,
don't think there's a reasonable way to accomplish this whereby it might become an addition in the future. And I also don't think that's necessarily the appropriate place for an addition on this house.
yeah.
I
I was gonna ask if you wanted to, at this opportunity in time, take it to that level, but if not, then keeping it a sunroom is fine.
because if I wanted to take it to that level, I'd have to really completely rethink the foundation. And again, that's the wet side of the house. It's the main grade that comes off that property on Jefferson. That's like. No, I mean, and that side is, it's the playroom behind the garage, right? So I think the nice possible thing to do is to put a glass sliding door to tie the two places in together, but. You know, it's not included here because nobody would ever see it.
Of course, yeah, that's an interior work.
I don't know if you're here for our other conversation about the horizontal gable, I think the way you have it sketched here is very,
I
very
agree.
handsome. It doesn't go all the way up to the main peak of the
Yeah,
existing house, so I really enjoy those proportions.
agreed.
The dream for the house, I mean, the house as you come into the neighborhood is on the right hand side. It has this beautiful long low line.
Yeah.
Like that's what the house is, certainly what I love about that. Like, yes, like maybe someday the house has hips, maybe someday that's extended, it's like. Or really, if there were an addition, it would be on the other side of the house and you'd be pushing out the kitchen and then the main bedroom.
Backwards,
Correct.
yeah,
Just pushing backwards. The main design element that you would see from the right of way coming from that side now is. I do not want to continue that roof line into the roof line of the sunroom.
mhm,
I think I want to make sure that that's inset back, so you don't have that kind of weird thing, and then you have to resolve the soffit detail. And, no, I think it's much nicer just push back and sitting back.
It reads as a sunroom, it reads as an addition, yeah.
Thank you. Well, I don't have any questions as far as design or scale. Do we need to call out other sorts of roof material or screen material, or how does this work? I think this might be the first like true sunroom that we've done. I'm looking at you, Jeff.
Yeah, I think you should, whatever it's going to be built of, specify that,
Okay,
in the roofing materials.
okay. So let's start with roofing material. Are you gonna use asphalt shingles?
Same asphalt shingles as the house. And that was one of the main things, shed style roof. I had that. They would, I either use the same polycarbonate or that sort of ugly, in my opinion, roll on.
Yeah,
roof thing.
for low slope roofs.
So it would just continue, same color continuing. And then the screen material would be either a metal or fiberglass screen. I don't have plans at the moment to put windows in.
Okay. Good. If that was, then we would need those windows specifically.
The only sort of difference is like right now, the screen is rolled on, stapled, and then these little white pieces of PVC trim are stapled on top of it.
Yeah,
I haven't found a sort of storm window style inset, individual piece of screen as one might use for storm door. To me, that would be ideal. It's something I can repair, take on and take off. There's just kind of like a rabbit around the edge of.
the little rubber channel. Yeah,
Correct, exactly. But, the design intent is screen affixed to that opening, not continuous around the outside, but You know, ending at each pole.
Okay.
On the end of the back of this thing, will there be siding in the gable, or is that gonna be screened too?
I think it will be screened. It. If you would be willing to leave the option for me to make it a picture window,
You really could. I mean, we can't see that from the street,
I think.
right? Or what about from,
No, it
are
faces
you a
the back
corner
of the
lot?
property.
Yeah, I'm a corner lot and that's the back. From the, so if you're looking at the sketch where you can see the gable,
Mhm.
you can see the right-hand side from about 4 feet up, because the street is quite below the grade of the house.
And that's
then-
Courtney Circle, right?
Correct. And then as you're coming in on Heatherhurst, you can see it askew, askance.
A little bit like this side,
Yeah.
a little bit.
So I think picture windows would be the lower maintenance, longer duration option for up there. I am not a fan of siding in that sort of thing. So either picture windows or mesh frame.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Jen? Is that good? I think so too.
My only other question is, you might be able to see that there's a deck just to the right of it. The best way to see it is in the.
The right of it looking, wait, the right of it looking at the rear or the
Yeah.
right of it looking at the side of your house?
Looking at the rear.
Okay.
Here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
15 foot by 7 foot.
Correct. You really can't see that from anywhere. Would I be able to simply extend that to the,
That's not our. Wait, you're asking to extend that outwards
yeah,
to meet this at this back edge? I don't think that's a question we can answer. Is that a zoning question or?
I think he's asking from an HPV perspective.
Like if it passed
Oh,
zoning,
Yeah,
I mean.
and I don't think we could see it, so it wouldn't even become to us.
great.
Just check with Steve to see what he might think.
Of course,
of
course,
of course.
Yeah, there's a
Yes,
row
then it matches right here.
arborvitae's
Yeah.
and some kind of shrubs and
Yeah.
a fence and a bunch of things obscuring.
Yeah, there's a fair amount of delayed landscape maintenance on this house. And a lot of tree work has happened, and it's a fun project. I love this house.
How long you been there?
2 years, but only one of those years, I blew my knee like a year ago.
Oh,
So
ouch.
all of my handiwork has been a lot of
Yeah.
housework. and
Yeah.
Now we're kind of getting it, it feels good.
Good. Okay, well then I'll make a motion to approve the application, with the following, comments added, that the rear of the sunroom, is either a picture window or mesh screen, and that the screen material used is either gonna be is a screen metal, or, oh no, that's not the screen itself, that's the actual structure, right?
The
The
screen
structure is either gonna be metal or fiberglass, right?
No. The structure would be metal,
Okay,
if not stapled. It could be stapled directly to trim in a way that's, just not ugly.
yeah,
But the screen material itself will be fiberglass on the wall.
okay. And that the roof material will be asphalt shingles to match the existing roof.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you. Or does anyone want to add anything? You cover that? Okay.
I think member Root gave a second, right? Because
Yes.
Cheryl's and gave that. Member McGray,
Yes?
member Lanahan,
Yes.
member Root,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes,
motion passes.
awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, then 92 South Main Street for demolition has been moved to August, so I'll make a motion to move this item number 9 of the agenda to August as well.
I I didn't quite understand this one because
Okay.
it's already.
Wait,
happened.
can we do a quick motion approval and then I'll explain it?
Okay,
I'll second.
Also, I don't know if we were explaining anything about the application without it being heard. Is
Okay.
that correct? Or questions should go to the code enforcement officer.
Okay.
All right,
Is there a second
I'll second.
Member Ruth,
Yes.
member Lanahan,
Yes.
member McGray,
yes,
Chair Olson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, then next up, we have 46 South Main Street. And this is for information only, so there's no motions or anything like that.
And then, the owners are online too.
Oh, okay. And you are,
I've done Templeton on the North Line.
nice to meet you, Doug.
And it's Alyssa. Yes, okay. Can you hear us, Alyssa?
Yes, I can.
So. Application and what you guys are looking to do.
Yeah, so what we're looking to do is, there's an existing garage there today, as you can see. What we want is to have, the goal is to have like a functional garage so that they can use this as a year-round residence. The owners currently live in Florida, and are moving back here to be closer to family. So they want to be able to park their cars in there and have some room to move around the vehicles. Some room for storage, and after talking to a couple of contractors, the contractors were saying, well, if you want money to repair this, then it would be to start fresh, so the footprint of the size that you want.
Yeah.
And then when I came in, I was like, well, we definitely want to try to keep the characters as much as possible, so we're doing trim profiles, trying to make the forward look on the front, a little bit larger, kind of scale it up, but keep the same height and massing.
Yeah.
To fit more of their needs. And so with that, we moved the garage a little bit. A lot of this backyard is actually paved over.
Yeah.
So we'd like to remove some of that to get the lot coverage down well. Which I know is a separate zoning thing, but basically we're kind of looking to maintain the whole character of it. But see if we could have a new structure that wouldn't require as much repair to it.
Okay.
So I think the current slab is a little bit lower than the driveway, so water gets in there. The back, the garage, someone must have bumped into it at some point and kind of bumped off the foundation a little bit. If it's, we would be. The best option, I think, for the clients would be to do a new garage. But if it's the board's position that you really need to reuse this structure.
Yeah.
We open to that as well.
Yeah,
Fit those modern vehicles in there is tough.
right. No, I think a lot of people in this village have that same issue. And a lot of people, if you drive around, there's a lot of cars parked in the driveways. And some people have barns that can't hold cars, some people have smaller sheds. Some people have a nice garage that does fit one car, but maybe not two. So it's definitely a topic that people have in our village. The hardest thing and again, this is all for information only, is that in our village, and I believe these residents are new to the village. Have they lived in the village before?
Sure, you can ask.
Okay.
them. They're online.
William and stuff.
We have not lived there before.
So and welcome to the village. It's nice to have new village people and we're excited to have you here. But the main thing that we want to do here is preserve what we have and preserve the buildings and the structures and the design and the looks and the feel of Pittsford. And when we go through an application like this, information, I think the main thing that we need to do is understand what we can do to preserve the existing structure. Going straight to demolition is not a possibility. That's not the first path. The first path is restoring. Then it can be maybe a restoration. And then we can do, or excuse me, restoring and a restoration are really the same thing. I meant to say renovation. And then we can maybe do like an addition of sorts, like we just did on Monroe Avenue, when we saved that garage. Yeah, and I think that garage was in worse shape than this structure. And we did more of an addition to that garage. Rather than scrape it off the cement and build something new. So I think we really need to make sure we understand the paths that our village takes with an application like this. And we always try, and Jeff can comment, our lawyer, is to move forward with this application of a new garage structure. We first have to understand if demolition is viable. So to go down that route, you would most likely present okay, here's exactly what I want. Like you say here, the type of work proposed, demolition of existing garage structure and replacement with new garage to a larger size to accommodate modern vehicles. So we would take that application and then say, let's first talk about the demolition. And we would have the building building inspector, as well as the code enforcement officer, who's one and the same in our village, go look at the structure and see if it's repairable or if it does need to be demolished due to structural reasons beyond what can be saved.
Excuse me, Chair, he did email the board regarding this property on July 9th.
Okay,
Um,
do we take that into consideration for
it would be part of
informational?
that, it would be part of the application.
Okay.
And then we can do that evaluation with the applicants if that's what, they
Okay,
would want. But it has been done, so they've done
Okay.
that part.
so we would review his comments and take that into consideration. Jeff, maybe you can add in.
Well, the other
best path forward.
consideration the board has to look at is whether or not it's a contributing structure and worthy of preservation. Yeah, so, I mean, I think that's the first question that you have to answer for yourselves. And for the applicant, is whether or not it's a contributing structure that's worthy of preservation.
For example, is it the same date as the original house?
Yeah,
Or
unlikely,
when was this garage
but
built?
probably.
Yeah,
Probably like the house is older, I think, just looking at the style of it, but that would be my guess. It doesn't look like a carriage house.
Hmm.
And I believe it's 1898.
For the house,
the house.
The
Yeah.
house. And I'm not clear on if the garage was built at the same time. We couldn't find specific information about it.
I'm guessing it's still quite old, but maybe more like 1930s.
Yeah. And then. So that's kind of, does anyone want to add anything to that as far as the process or how we go about something like this?
Just to let you know that we reviewed a very similar property and problem, and it was resolved by making an extension to the original structure, set back a little bit so that it was obvious that the second bay of the garage was new construction off of an existing structure.
Yeah.
And it was very successful.
Was that the Road one you mentioned?
Yeah. And then as far as like exterior elevations, if we want to look at that, you probably wouldn't see those styles of garage doors on a barn of this age, so we would try and keep it to match the existing as close as possible. Like, you know, if you were just literally trying to just make this the exact same garage, but just increase the footprint, that would probably go over the easiest. Or be the best path forward. Again, this is all just for information only. I would just try and match it as close as possible. As far as the design goes.
It's, like specifically with the stylized X's for barn. That,
Yeah,
probably.
what is on there now? I know it's
Oh, I
not
just
those.
pulled it up. It's just a panel, so.
Yeah, so if we
With the-
just. You almost have it identical, other than the actual garage doors, right? You have the little overhang from the Um. Little garage overhang.
Yeah, it's just making the garage doors match what's there.
Yeah,
Not to get over stylized.
Sure.
Garage doors. You also mentioned the reduction of the driveway, which we wouldn't.
Right.
Worry about that. You can reduce the driveway as much as you want, as far as we're concerned.
yeah,
You wouldn't have to.
HPV.
as far as HPV.
As far as HPV, I mean, and actually, I guess I'm not gonna speak for the other board, but I've never heard of anyone having a problem reducing a driveway. If you wanted to add it, that sometimes is pretty.
I'm sure we can do it. Yeah. It's just over now. It's.
Yeah,
That's fine.
but yeah, that's kind of the best path forward.
Okay.
Does that answer all your questions? You guys, anybody else have any questions or comments to add?
It's a nice, cute little garage that's already there.
Yeah.
But. We're staying one that wide. Can I ask what the address number of that Monroe is?
Alexander, can you provide that?
Okay.
Yeah, I can email it to you, yeah, and we need the actual application, that one, if I'm on the board, would probably be helpful, if we want to watch the recording. Yep.
Sure.
There's Monroe, Sutherland.
The second one, yeah, so it's Monroe and Sutherland on the, let's see, south side of the street. And, no, not on the southern side, it's on Monroe, is the second one up towards the four corners of the village.
Okay.
It's not the white house, it's the yellow house with the garage set back.
Oh, okay, the next.
If my memory serves me, but yeah, I think that's your best path forward.
Yeah, whatever I can see is precedent for what has set for these similar problems.
And if you have questions about contributing or not contributing to, you can follow up with Steve, there's an article on our website about that property.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Did they have any more questions? But
At least,
yeah.
William or Lisa, any questions?
Nope, not at all. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, thank you.
I just didn't want to move them yet.
All right, so let's go back to 18 State Street for signage.
No one showed up, email, text.
No one's online?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll make a motion to move that to August as well.
second,
Member McRae,
yes,
member Rude,
Yes.
member Lanahan,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, I'll write that down also. Okay, let's go back to 14 Eastview Terrace. I'll make a motion to allow the demolition of the shed
Oh, yeah,
that we forgot to do.
yeah, it was not appropriate. To be there, you're talking about wait, which one are we talking?
oh,
about?
it's the house with the big peak roof, there's a shed there, I don't even know if it's attached to the ground, it's just like
Okay,
one
yeah.
of these utilities. there.
Right,
Feel we would do it, we did it for 5 Sutherland.
Okay,
not a contributing.
Not a contributing structure, it was built in the circa 1990. It's T111 plywood, and it's not a useful structure to what the applicants need.
Second.
Member
Is that okay?
McRae,
yes,
member Lanahan,
Yes,
member Rude,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes,
motion passes.
okay. Let's do some minutes, if there's anything else that we need to do on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Are you, you're just finding that stuff in.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
okay, let's do finding the facts.
Well, April 20th, I just wanted to show the 20th to you all that.
Minutes?
I'm gonna go ahead and clerk approve them, just because we haven't had the proper members to approve them. And you've seen them a couple of times, so.
Okay, there was only one thing that was in here, I think it said, Olson abstain.
You can say that again.
Oh, you
It's-
weren't
And
there?
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay, so
It says Olson abstain. That was the only thing that caught my eye. And that was for
Yeah. You weren't there. I'm crossing you out.
page 202 on April 20th.
Yeah. Okay, and then the Thursday, May 28th. I don't know if we can do this one either. Cause it's just myself, Jim, and Maria were there. Maria's no longer on the board.
What? We don't have that on public record.
Oh.
yeah.
Well, she might not be on the board. Um. Other than that, I think everything was fine. Oh, and if Steve was here, really, are we allowed to talk about this or no?
I just think it would be appropriate if you guys want to have an attorney's, right,
I think they got 65 and 63 houses, mixed up, but that's between Steve and himself.
yeah, that's.
So I don't think we can do any in the minutes, right?
Well, I can perfectly them.
Okay.
The information is correct and. I'll post them.
Okay. When is Steve back?
I got rid of them.
Huh.
He'll be back tomorrow. He has a lot to catch up on, and then.
Good, I'll call him at 9.
And then he and I will be gone for another week in the first week of August, so.
Where are you guys going?
Work
related?
Off
Wait.
record.
Is it work related?
Well, I'm not going with him.
Oh, you said, that's what you said. You said he and I will be off.
He wishes he could go with me.
Okay, how about August 17th training?
Yeah, so, we really need to settle on a training time. We've gotten out of them the last couple of times. I've offered mornings, which it seemed like you guys may be interested in 7 AM. Or a lunchtime or 4:30 or after the meeting, but the training is overdue. A couple of you have completed your training, but training as a group has been really helpful for our planning and zoning board.
Okay.
And I know that there is a topic that I'll be circulating soon. I'm just trying to get some more research from NICOM.
Okay.
So I just want to leave this meeting at the time for training.
How does lunch work with everyone?
Good, except for Tuesdays.
It would be it's actually our meeting day, so the Monday, August 17th. I just need to snag you.
Lunch or before the meeting? How much time do you need before the meeting?
It's only been an hour.
Okay, so lunch or 4:30?
Mhm.
We can really make it 4:15 out of respect towards if it runs late or what.
Are alternates expected at this training?
It's highly recommended because for reappointment, they do look at training and it would be helpful if you're there, or can make it, yes.
Okay.
Jim,
I'll make whatever you guys want work.
Sam,
Let's do lunchtime.
okay.
Is that
I'm
okay?
more alert at noon than I am at 4:30.
Okay, so we're gonna start at 12 noon, is that lunch
Okay.
period, or
Yeah.
what's the lunch hour for everyone?
Noon.
No?
And this is online. This is
Yeah.
Zoom.
So it's gonna be a webinar together, which you guys can talk to each other, but I'm gonna be streaming it.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Thank you.
okay.
And then I'll see you later on that evening and whoever doesn't show up, see me again.
Now, I haven't done one of these with the board before, a webinar like this, so you could fill me in on how. to do that
Absolutely,
later.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Can we do 4:30 then that day? No, that may not work for me either. I got a trial starting at 9:15. I sort of want to be at that training.
Oh, 4:30 would be okay with me too.
Same.
Yeah.
Sounds like it won't work for you either though, right? Jeff, did you say 4:30 won't work?
That's all the trial goes, yeah.
It's tough to predict.
All right. Noon it is.
Well, would you rather 4:30 to see if you could make it?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Let's
Okay,
try, let's
okay.
move to 4:30.
Okay,
Let's do 4:30 on the 17th.
okay. Sounds good. I'm gonna send everyone a calendar invite
Perfect.
that has the link to the Zoom in it.
That works for you.
Yeah, that's fine for me.
Oh, Zoom, they know.
Zooming it or zooming?
Are you showing up at 4:30? Or are you zooming?
At that point, I would be fine Zoom, showing up.
It would make sense to show up if it's at 4:30,
Sure.
but then Zoom would only be lunchtime. Okay, so then
It's easier for everyone.
I'll have the big
It's the
screen.
last
up.
time it screwed up and I couldn't log in,
Okay,
but that was probably mine.
4:30 in person.
So in person, okay?
All right, perfect.
And, last item, do you want me to go over my, items from the, my comments from the,
Sure.
training or now or then at that meeting?
I'm up for either.
I want to hear all about it.
You were there. Not at my sessions though, so. What do you think? Are you itching to go home, you guys, or are you okay for?
I can put it on the agenda for the next meeting if
Another
that's okay
10
with you.
minutes or?
Or, because we could put Jim's on there too, just in case anyone from the
We-
public wants to.
We already did Jim's.
No,
She said she put it on the agenda.
Oh,
in case the public wanted to listen to the recap of the
Okay.
conference.
all right,
And so I'll put you on the agenda for, is that okay?
And maybe
Yeah.
we'll have a new member as well.
okay.
That'd work out.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's fly through minutes. And you're gonna record all of this, so we can just go through them all, right?
What is that?
Findings.
It's, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
like we already did the minute.
No, you'll.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the transcript.
All right, so we'll do this as. Add it, we're gonna start with 15 Maple Street. That was tabled. 9 Sutherland Street for the fence. The fence is within design guidelines for material, sizing and location. And we called out the cap dimensions so that it looks correct for size and scale.
Would be wood. The good side is to the neighbor and there's no visible chain link.
Perfect. 22 Boughton for the door. The door is to match an already approved door on the side of the home, and that it's gonna also match the design and style of the existing door. So it is almost a replacement in kind. Anyone add to that? Okay. 18 State Street was moved to August. 14 Eastview Terrace, the addition in the garage. We'll start with the garage. The garage is an addition. The demolition of the shed was approved. The addition meets the design standards for our village, as well as the reduction in the gable height. Will not be so prominent to look like it wouldn't be something that we would see in our village. The materials on the addition of the new garage all meet everything that we would see in a new structure in our village.
It's differentiated from the old, clever.
And it's differentiated by the clapboard board rather than the party board cedar shingles. Moving on to, onto the side of the house.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, anything else for the garage?
You said you're lowering the gable
Yep,
and it may be unmatched color.
yep.
And we also approved the doors and windows and lighting for the garage.
Oh, yeah, we didn't really talk about those.
Yeah, they were in there.
Oh,
They're
but
already in they're already in the application. And then
oh, you mean you approved it in previous meeting?
no, it's in the application.
It's in the
So when we
application.
just like approved it as presented, it
Okay.
was already in there.
Gotcha.
We were talking about how there's a variety of windows in the house, different styles of windows, and so that it was part of that eclectic net.
Oh, here's this is for the garage materials.
Mm.
And then as far as the findings, the facts go for the proposed addition. The size and scale also meet the design guidelines of the village with the step down roofs. And that the applicant is going to add in a preferably double hung window on the proposed right side elevation. To break up the dead space of the addition. And try to match the above windows on the second story addition as well. All materials on the addition are going to match, including the roof, the roof eaves, the window reveals and the window sills, as well as the material of the house, which is the cedar shingles. All to match existing. Good,
My points.
okay. 14 South Street for the roof. The findings of facts are that, it's a appropriate alternate roof material to the existing asphalt shingles that are currently on the home. And that the applicant preferred a standing seam metal roof 2 years ago, and we explained why that was inappropriate. And the applicant came back with cedar shingles, and that is absolutely appropriate and will be an improvement on the historical integrity of the home. 9 Jackson Park was a partial approval for 2 doors as well as a window in the bathroom. The front door was tabled, and the applicant is going to find a more accurate mid-century style front door to keep the integrity of the home intact. Anyone want to add that one? Okay. 51 Heatherhurst Drive, the sunroom. It's an improvement on the deemed condemned sunroom that was damaged in a storm on June 18th. It's going to be rebuilt on the same footprint and material and style, other than the gable roof, which is an improvement on the design and the aesthetics of the home. 92 South Main Street was moved to August, and 46 South Main Street is for informational.
Record time.
Okay, anything else that we missed?
On my part,
All right, then I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
member McBride,
Yes?
member Lanahan,
Yep.
member Rude,
Yes.
Chair Olson,
Yes.
motion passes. Okay,
Thank you.
Should I keep these for